My paternal grandparents moved in with my aunt, uncle, and cousins a number of years ago. They spoke Spanish, and my grandfather spoke decent English, but my grandmother did not. After my grandfather passed away, my grandmother was left alone in a house full of people, only two of whom spoke Spanish. My aunt and her other brothers and sisters doted on my grandmother whenever they could, but their jobs and personal obligations kept them from always keeping her company. My sister studied abroad in Spain a number of times, and eventually mastered the language that many of our cousins never bothered to learn, even though a number of them have two Spanish-speaking parents, and we only have one. One day, my sister shared with me an upsetting conversation she had with our grandmother. It took place in Spanish and broke my heart to hear about. My grandmother told my sister that she lives in a house with 5 people, yet feels lonely all of the time. Nobody bothered to talk to her. I believe in hugging my grandparents. My father always made sure my sister and I saw our grandmother at least once a week. We would drop by, watch Spanish soap operas, then the daily mass. I would practice my awful Spanish and enjoy her laughter, often at my expense. I'm grateful that my dad instilled those values in us, because my grandmother has been gone for a little over a year, but I can look back on our time together and smile. Grandparents do so much for us. Anyone that has had a grandparent to love and support him throughout his life needs to call them right now and say I love you. Because grandparents don't last forever. They will love us unconditionally, and all they ask for in return is to be a part of our lives. Let them. Sure, your grandmother might add you on Facebook and constantly comment on your posts and any posts that you're tagged in. Or your grandfather might call you by the nickname you had when you were 4, at your high school graduation, in front of the whole church. But they're there, present in your life, and all they want to do is love and support you. There's no harm in that. But there's tremendous harm in taking that for granted. Let it happen. But don't forget to thank them, and give them a hug next time you see them.